Good morning, guys. It is January the 20th, 2020, and I am excited. Today is the very first day of our morning Devos. That's right. Every weekday at 8 a.m., I invite you to meet me right here, whether you're on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. I will be here and facilitating a time of worship and prayer and devotion. This is a new season that I'm walking into, so I'm stepping out on faith definitely in doing this, but I really feel like the Lord has been calling me to step into some newness, and so let's get it. Let's do it. Once again, you will be able to find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. If you're not a morning person, I get it. I understand that. But the links will be uploaded. You can go back at any time and watch. If you feel so led, you can share it as well. The place that I really would love for you guys to meet me is in the comments. Let us walk through this journey together. Take the opportunity to share what you're going through, to share maybe what you've gotten out of what we've talked about, or maybe you have some song suggestions as well, because that's what we'll be doing. I'll just be taking separate different songs and expressing what I see the Lord has shown me or what He is showing me through those songs. So I want to hear what you are experiencing and what's giving you life in this season. The very first song that we will do, Glorious Day. I was buried beneath my shame, and who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. See, I was breathing but not alive, and all my failures I've tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. When I think about this song, first off, I have to say that the reason that I'm even doing this really is because of this song, and I was excited for it to be the very first song. When I think about the weight of my life and the things I've walked through, as the first opening line says, I was buried beneath my shame. I don't know about you, but I know in my life I have seen things and walked through things that I would not wish upon my worst enemy to walk through. And the fact that that shame is something that I have carried throughout the years, it has put me in the position to bury myself, to literally put myself in a place where I'm isolated. Like walls go up. I don't allow myself to build relationships that can be life-giving and to help me grow. I also seclude myself, and I create this fear of stepping into the light that God has called me to. So I find myself burying the shame, but then I'm trying to carry it, which then later on it becomes a tomb. It literally becomes a place where I am dead, and I feel like there's no way out. The enemy's in that place with me. A tomb is dark, and in the midst of that darkness, I know the enemy is like, I'm here and I'm here for you. But the reality is that's a lie. He's only there for his purpose, for his gain, and for his victory. And so he takes my shame and he has used it over the years to say, Frank, why would God want to use you? Why would you have any worth amongst anything or anyone on this earth? But Jesus changes and rewrites all of that. As it carries on to the second part of verse 1, it says, I was breathing, but not alive. I can literally think of times in my life where I've been breathing, but I haven't desired to be a husband. I haven't desired to be a son. I haven't desired to be a father. I haven't desired to do the tasky things of work that I don't like, let alone entertaining the things that I do like and I do love. But that's how the enemy works. I have realized and seen that in the midst of being breathing, but knowing that I'm not alive, a lot of times that is because of my shame that I'm trying to hide it. It is the most scariest thing, I think, sometimes for us to really genuinely say, if people knew the things that I have been through and struggled with, what would they think of me? And the reality is people are going to think what they want to think, whether they know things about you or not. But a lot of times what we think of ourselves is more damaging and destructive than what people think of us. The enemy knows that. He speaks to our hearts. He gravitates to our brokenness. He takes the things from 10 days, 10 weeks, 10 years ago, and he just waits to that perfect little sin-filled moment to use it as leverage. to condemn us, to break us down, and to put us in a place where we fear love and we retreat to exactly what this song is saying, a tomb. So we find ourselves dead. We are breathing, but we are going through the routine of life. I think a everyday term would say depression. We're sitting in a place where it's like, I know that I am breathing, but I don't care to move. I can't move. I feel claustrophobic. I feel like I'm drowning, and that may be you today. I say this to you, you are not alone in that journey. You are not alone in that struggle, but Jesus brings victory and freedom through that. When you think about being in the dark, hiding things in the dark is something that can feel so safe, but those hidden things over time begin to eat and nag and destroy us from the inside out. And so God has called us to step into the light. He also didn't say just step into the light. He's saying, hey, I love you so much that I want to take all of that shame and all of that sin and all that brokenness and just destroy it, to kill it, to remove it. And when it's dead, so that you can go from just breathing to being and knowing and feeling that you are alive. There's a verse in Romans 6 that says, there's a lot here that's real good, but I'll just start with verse 7. And it says, for one who has died has been set free from sin. Now, if we have died with Christ, we believe that we will also live with him. We know that Christ, being raised from the dead, will never die again. Death no longer has dominion over him. For the death he died to sin once for all. But the life he lives to God. So you also must consider yourselves. We also must consider ourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus. The place where we have to go when our shame is thick, when we're breathing but we don't feel alive, when all our failures, we want to hide them. The place where we have to go is to the tomb where Jesus laid but got up and walked out of. Jesus went from that dark tomb, dead, lifeless, to breathing again, but not only just breathing for himself, but giving us life, giving us the opportunity to say, yes, I made mistakes. I have walked and seen things that I wish I had never seen, but I did it. And now I want to release those, lay them at the feet of Jesus, and stand and walk in the light that God has called me to. Today, there could be someone listening to this who your story is kind of similar to mine in ways where some of the shame you didn't walk into. I have walked into some shame and made some poor choices. I will own that. But some of the shame sometimes we wake up in. We didn't walk into that tomb and close the door behind us from temptation. We woke up in that tomb because someone chose to say something to us out of the way. Someone physically abused us. Something happened that ripped and stripped the innocence of our heart before we could even protect ourselves or deflect from it. To those of you who are walking through that, let me tell you this: the God that I love and know and serve, he redeems, restores, and will release you from that shame. You are not alone. The same God that spoke life into Jesus and rose him from the dead is the same God that says, I love you and I have a place for you. I want you to be a part of my story, giving me all the glory. And that is the God that I love. That is the God that I serve. That is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. Like, honestly, I have found myself missing out on stepping into the opportunities that God has called me to out of the fear and the shame that if someone knew what I have been through or what I have done, or if they don't see me in this picture perfect world, then it's going to be embarrassing. And how can God use that? I refuse to listen and trust those lies, because the seasons that I trusted those lies were the seasons that I strayed more from God, the seasons that I isolated myself more and I felt more broken and I ruined everything around me that I touched. But Jesus never gave up. It's as if he was sitting on the outside of the tomb saying, Frank, when you're ready, I'm ready. Today we lift this moment up to you, God, just declaring that you are great. God, I pray that if anyone is watching this right now and they are sitting in a moment where they feel like they are dead, though their body is physically breathing, their soul is dead, their heart is dead, I rebuke that spirit, God, and I just ask for life to fill them, God. rejuvenate them, restore them, take them to a place where only you can, so that they can genuinely see that they are loved, that they are valued, and they are worth more than what the enemy may be saying they are not. God, we lift this to you. We continue to go about our day knowing that you are great and that you are mighty, and we no longer have to sit in that tomb. I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. And all of my failures I've tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. It was my tomb till I met you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow here, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a blessed day.